I'm sure sometimes it works out for people, but I don't think it's the safest thing to do.
Her
I
name is
think
Gay.
a person that has
Crippling
something
arthritis
she's got
confines her to a
period
wheelchair.
check something.
Now in her
She
early
just got
70s, she does not want her last name used because she was a victim of a form of elder abuse. She had jewelry and medication taken by people she hired and thought she could trust to help her at home.
We had placed an ad in the paper, really specific, and I mean, I just didn't enter my head that somebody would do things like that.
Gay suffered just one type of abuse against seniors. In 2008, Adult Protective Services in Lincoln County had 322 calls for alleged abuse. Everything from emotional abuse to financial, physical, and sexual abuse was reported. Nearly one-third required full investigations. Jennifer Baker is program manager for Oregon Cascades West Senior Services, which partners with Lincoln County as the area agency on aging.
We have very strict rules and guidelines that are written. If this, then proceed this way. So obviously, if we have somebody, for example, that's in a resident, let's say an ALF, an assisted living facility, and they report to us, or somebody, a family member reports that there is a bruise of unknown origin, that's a negative outcome for a client. And that's something that we're really going to look into and say, what happened in this situation.
Sometimes cases cannot be resolved before they reach the law enforcement stage. The current case against a Lincoln City adult foster home owner is an example. While he can't discuss a pending case directly, Lincoln County District Attorney Rob Bovet says the community needs to be more aware and report possible elder abuse.
If we can do prevention, if we can do education to make sure that our seniors aren't abused, they aren't neglected, they aren't financially taken advantage of, that's all great. But we have seen quite a number of cases where that unfortunately hasn't been the case, and my office takes those matters very seriously. We have a lot more work to do when it comes to elder abuse on that front. We need to be able to assure not only our elders, but our elders' family members that this type of conduct really does need to be reported so it can be investigated, and so we can get solutions.
It's estimated that only 1 in 5 suspected elder abuse cases are actually reported. That's why the Oregon Everyday Heroes campaign looks for people who notice problems and report them. Kathleen Shano of in-home care agency Aging Wisely with Heartfelt Hands recalls one example here in Lincoln County.
I think it was a PUD person. And when he got there, he found this 7-year-old woman sitting on the porch. It was freezing cold. She told him this story about her grandchildren who had moved into the home and had her home that was paid for and had essentially kicked her out, and she didn't feel comfortable being inside with them any longer. And when the police came, they discovered a meth lab in the house. So he was one of our everyday heroes because he didn't just come to collect his bill. He intervened and talked to senior services about what services they could provide and how they could intervene for this person.
Reports are turned over to investigators who try to prevent more serious harm.
We screen all of the Adult Protective Service calls that come in. They're logged. And then the Adult Protective Service workers that do the screening are the experts in determining time frame response, if it rises to the level of a protective service. And we also have other categories because, like I said, we follow up on every phone call that we get.
Gay learned one big lesson from her financial abuse incident. It's that hiring someone from a licensed agency carries more safeguards.
After the experiences, I wouldn't try to hire independently. I'm just a trusting person, so I never thought anything would happen. But after those experiences, I would not hire alone again. I would definitely go through the agency.
In 2004, the state of Oregon put into law any agency that provides caregivers had to be licensed. And for the protection of the elder, they had to do criminal background checks, reference checks, make sure that the person had a driver's license, a current driver's license, and insurance, that they're supervised, and that they have continuing education hours provided.
D.A. Bovet thinks Lincoln County, with its constantly aging population, needs to have an assurance that seniors are protected.
We have a very high percentage population of retired folks here in Lincoln County, which is great, but that makes us also potentially more susceptible to this type of conduct, and we need to be aware of this. All of us, whether we're in our elder years or not, we need to be aware of this, and we need to be protective of those that could be especially vulnerable to being victims of crime.
If you suspect elder abuse, the toll-free number to call is 1-877-877-9392. For more information on Oregon Everyday Heroes or to submit a nomination, call 1-800-358-3117. Their website details how the program works. To contact Senior Services in Lincoln County, call 336-2289 or 1-800-282-6194. The Cascades West website provides lists of warning signs. Just go to Adult Protective Services. You can also download a copy of the Lincoln County Resource Directory to help locate information and services.